it's Mia from Rose Nails by Marissa Coombs, and today I wanted to do a really simple set with this beautiful blue from the Fresh Blossom set from SPD London. So this is Blossom number 2, and it's just this, oh, it's such a gorgeous, like, dreamy colour. So I wanted to do a really simple set. So I'm going to paint all 5 of the nails with 2 coats of this colour, but I only show you one of them because otherwise it's just a bit boring because it's the same colour over and over again. So I'm just going to pop that in the lamp for 60 seconds and do 2 coats of colour. And then I'm going to use New York City number 6. Now I messed this up because apart from the fact that I dropped it, I was like, what? I'm going to do a glitter fade on 2 of the nails with this. It's a gorgeous holographic superfine silver, and I was trying to do a bit of a cheats method and I messed it up because I couldn't blimmin' see because my camera was in the way. So ignore this bit and wait for the second one. Wait for the second fade that I do, because this one was all fingers and thumbs and I had to pause the camera and then correct it because honestly I couldn't see what I was doing because my camera was right in the way. So I moved my camera and I sorted it out, and I will show you how to do it properly in a minute, I promise. So yeah, that one messed up, ignore that one. Right, so with your New York City, make sure there's not a lot on your brush and start painting at the cuticle end, so that like the majority of that glitter is going to be down at the cuticle end. And then just get a nice clean brush, doesn't really matter what kind of brush it is, you could use your detailer brush or anything, and then just gently pull some of that glitter forward into a fade. And that is it. It's that simple, but I just messed up the first one because I couldn't blooming see. So on the ring finger, we're going to do our accent nail, and we're going to use some of the white 4D Pretty Putty from SPD London, which is a 3D 4D gel. It's like plasticine to use, it's really fun. And you use the SPD London slip solution with it. You do not need to use too much slip solution. I have a lot of people message me and say that they're struggling with the 4D Pretty Putty and that it just goes to mush and that they're just really struggling to get any shape with it. If that is you, then you're using far too much of the slip solution. So seriously, less is more. So I've just got a ball of the Pretty Putty and I've put it sort of a little bit higher than the middle of my nail. And then you want to get your brush and use it at a 45-degree angle and pat it out, and really use the belly of your brush to kind of pat it out so it goes much thinner in the middle and you get all of that white in the side. Oh, ignore me there, I was getting a hair out of the Pretty Putty because it was annoying me. So you get like this nice curve with most of the white colour on the outside. And then I've popped that into the lamp for just a 30-second cure. It does fully cure in 60 seconds, the 4D putty, but in between petals I just put it in for 30 seconds just so I can work without moving the sort of petal next to it, and then I put it in for a full 60-second cure at the end. So I've put the next ball to the side of my first ball so that I can create a sort of overlapping petal, and we're going to do exactly the same thing again, except for this time I do like a little, this bit that I'm doing here, I use my brush on both sides of the edge so that it kind of sticks up a bit and gives a bit more of a sort of 3D appearance. The best thing about this 4D Pretty Putty is that it does not set. It's not like when you do artwork with acrylic. It doesn't set, so you can mess around with it and manipulate it as much as you feel like you need to, and you've got as much time as you need to create these 3D designs without worrying that the acrylic is setting up on you. So we're going to do the same thing again and do another petal to the side. Don't worry if your Pretty Putty goes over, like off the nail a bit. You can just sort of drag it back on with your brush and then pop that in for a 30-second cure. Now I'm going to go back in with quite a big ball this time and create another petal in the middle. So this one's got to overlap those 2 slightly smaller ones to the side, if that makes sense. It's really hard to describe how to use the 4D pretty putty when you're on camera. It's definitely something that you need to sort of experiment with in real life, rather than, like, you can't learn it like just from videos. So I'm just going to curl these sides up from the outside and then pop that in for another 30-second cure. Then I'm going to go in with another ball. I wanted this flower to have like loads of petals and look really delicate, not just like a couple of little sparse petals. I wanted it to be quite a layered flower. So again, I'm going to use the belly of my brush at a 45-degree angle, really squidge it down, Any little bits where the putty is breaking because there's a petal underneath, don't worry about it. You can just kind of use your brush to squidge it back together. And then I'm going to curl that petal round because it was sort of disappearing off the cuticle end of my nail. I love doing flowers at the moment. Flowers are just like my favourite thing. Whether they're 3D or whether they're flat, I don't care. I just want to do flowers all day. And then I'm going to pop that in the lamp for a 60-second cure. And while that's in the lamp, I've just made like a little worm, a little worm of putty. And immediately I knew the worm was far too long. So I got my spatula and removed some worm. To be honest, I should have removed a little bit more because it was still a little bit too long. But I'm just going to make a sort of curly whirly centre for the flower. So again, I'm just going to press this down using the belly of my brush at a 45-degree angle. And then I sort of work at one side of the worm. So you can see the other side of the worm, like I haven't even touched. I'm only touching it now. So I do that sort of that half of the worm and then this half of the worm. Does that make any sense? Or am I blabbering? Probably blabbering. So I'm just going to curl this side over and then use my brush to go in the centre and poke it out. Again, this is really, really hard to explain on camera. It's so much easier to explain when I'm teaching it, like to a student in front of me. So much easier. And then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to pop it in for a 60-second cure. And then I'm going to get a medium-y size blob. And, oh yeah, I moved my kitchen towel. I have no idea why I did that. And then I'm going to create a little leaf shape. So I'm literally, with the leaves, because you don't have to, you want it to be like a consistent flatness most of the way through the leaf, rather than with the petals where we want it thin at one side of the petal and much thicker at the other side of the petal. So you can pretty much just flatten this down and then use your brush to manipulate the sides into a leaf shape like I'm doing here. So they're nice and easy. Nice and easy. Excuse me, by the way, if you can hear my son yelling at his brother on the phone downstairs. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it or not, but from where I am, it sounds pretty loud. So I'm just going to tidy up the edges of this leaf, and then before it goes in the lamp, I am going to just use my brush to make little indents where the veins of the leaf would be. Any minute now. Yep, there we go. Just to give it that sort of like proper leaf identity, not just like some random petal that's fallen off. I'm going to pop that in for a 60-second cure, and then I'm going to use some of my AB13 crystals from SBD London and my No Wipe Sticky Diamond Gem Glue, which is awesome because it has a precision applicator and I love it. And I'm just going to put 3 little AB crystals in the centre of my flower using my SBD London Gem Picker, which I have ruined really badly because it spilled into acetone and it took some of the paint off, and I was like, oops, but it still works a treat. And I'm going to pop that into the lamp, and then this is the finished set of nails. So I'm just going to go in with some tempering top coat, and there they are. I really like this set. I don't really do sort of super simple sets very often, but I really enjoy doing these. They're really pretty. They'd be amazing for wedding nails, like springtime wedding nails. So I'll leave everything down below as to what I have used, and have a lovely day and see you soon. Bye!